Greetings everyone, welcome back to PW Twister 7. I apologize for not doing another video sooner. My HD camera kind of conked out on me, so I had to go purchase a webcam, and the last couple weeks have just been hell with funerals and work and other crap, but I am back, and the direction I've decided to take this channel is how I would book and or change things in WWE/TNA. Offering alternatives to where things have gone. I don't have the money to order the pay-per-view, so all I can do is give my perspective on how I would book the matches and how I would enhance and advance the feuds that go on. I'll be having other videos out today. So, I'm going to start with TNA Lockdown. This pay-per-view could have potential. All the TNA pay-per-views have potential to go somewhere, but they just don't know how to book it properly. So, that's where I come in. So I'm going to do starting with match number 1, the X Division Xscape match between Amazing Red, Brian Kendrick, Chris Sabin, Jay Lethal, Jeremy Buck, Max Buck, Robbie E, and Suicide. This is if they follow traditional X Division Xscape rules. It's an elimination match. When it gets down to the last two guys, the winner is the first to escape the cage. Now, if they do this is the order I would do. I would have this match go, and where I would have things go with each of these individual guys. Based off what I see here, the first one who logically should be out is Brian Kendrick, I think. You know, he's a good wrestler, but in terms of where he's been in TNA, he hasn't accomplished anything. You have five former X Division champions in this match. So I would say Brian Kendrick is probably the first to go. After that, probably Robbie E would go next. They don't really have any stories going for them right now, so that's the way I would advance that. Suicide would be next. Again, kind of in a slump lately. No feuds that could benefit him out of this match. So I would have him go out of there next. Now you have a couple of interesting ways you can go here. I would not give Jay Lethal the title, because again, he's another guy who's been in the slump. You could have him go completely nuts. You know, say in the match, I would actually, out of this match, if I were booking it, give Jay Lethal a bit of a heel turn. You know, you can make it so that he's been in a slump the last couple of months. He lost his title. He's been losing matches. He hasn't been on TV much. Say that he's the guy who pins Suicide. Yeah, he's the guy who pins Suicide. Suicide gets helped out to the cage. Then one of the guys in the match rolls him up while he's, congratulating himself that, oh my gosh, I got to win. Holy crap. You know, he's overexcited. He gets rolled up. And he's out next. And he flips out. He gets forced out of the cage. He starts beating up on Suicide, and you could have a Jay Lethal, Suicide, whoever. You know, Jay Lethal, Suicide feud would be nice. They could both do interesting stuff. And you could insert whoever you want in the Suicide costume, because the style of the wrestler is the same. But that's how I'd look at it. I would give Jay Lethal a heel turn going out of this match, because the way his career in TNA has been going recently, it's logical. Now that leaves you with Amazing Red, Chris Sabin, Jeremy Buck, and Max Buck. Let me cross out the names I've already eliminated so I know where I'm going here. So, with those first four guys out, another guy who I would have go out next is Amazing Red. Yes, I would have Amazing Red go out of this match, because he doesn't really have anything going for him. Now you're probably thinking, why would you give Jay Lethal a heel turn but not Amazing Red? Because Amazing Red isn't a talker. If he had a manager, I could see it. But he just does not have the charisma to have a believable heel turn. And besides, he's way too small to really do anything as a heel. Jay Lethal's competed with the big guys. He has a victory over Kurt Angle a couple of years ago. For the X Division title. He has believable wins that would allow him to make a believable heel turn. And you can even stick him in there instead of Suicide as the opponent. It doesn't matter who. stick any face in there against Jay Lethal, but when he turns heel, and you'll have a logical thing going there. So that means you'll have Chris Sabin, Max Buck, and Jeremy Buck. Now, one of these guys will be challenging Kazarian for the X Division champion. Here's where I would go with this. You have Max and Jeremy Buck in the middle of a feud right now. I don't think it should end. I liked the match they had on Impact a while ago. I think you could do a lot more with this. So I would have Max and Jeremy Buck freak out, do their thing. I would have the good guy of the two get pinned by, Chris Sabin would do his finishing maneuver. The heel would tear Chris Sabin off of the face, smash him into the cage, and then the heel would do his, and then the heel would get the pin. And I think that Jeremy's the heel. So we'll say, until I'm proven otherwise, Jeremy is the heel. So Jeremy would get the pin on Max. He would celebrate. He would talk smack. And so, next thing you know, Jay Lethal, not Jay Lethal, Chris Sabin, sorry. Well, he's freaking out here. While Jeremy's taunting and celebrating and whatnot, Chris Sabin, would be the one to start climbing the cage. And eventually, Jeremy would realize, holy crap, he's climbing the cage. By this time, you have Max Buck, who would be gaining back some of his stamina and whatnot, and wherewithal. And while Jeremy and Chris Sabin are going at it at the top of the cage, you would have Max hold Jeremy's leg, for example, and Chris Sabin would get out, and Chris Sabin is the guy that I would book to win the X Division Xscape match. Now, why would I do that? One, because, again, I don't want the Jeremy and Max Buck feud to end, but you could individualize their personalities now, you could make them separate. This gives them time to become individuals, separate themselves, so you know who's Max and Jeremy. And Chris Sabin has a reason to win this feud. He needs this feud. Just look at it this way. The Motor City Machine Guns aren't together anymore. If you listen last week on Impact, I do believe it was, they said that the Guns decided to go their own separate ways on a singles career. And mind you, Alex Shelley hasn't been on TV for a while. So Chris Sabin gets this win. He goes back to his Hale Sabin character or whatever. You could do anything you want with him. Give him his own new face type of thing. And the reason I'm putting Chris Sabin as the new contender for Kaz's X Division title is because they have a history together. They put on many a good match together. You put these two on a pay-per-view, and the hardcore TNA fan will know, hey, Kaz versus Chris Sabin, that's a good match. Because they know there's history there. You know you're going to get a good match out of that. You get a compelling story. Chris Sabin, coming off of his tag team, which was successful but had a slump, so they decided to go on their own. He would win. I would have him go and win the title against Kaz. You could have him and Kaz, and then you could just, him and Kaz could do whatever, or you could just have Kaz deal with Immortal Steel, say, I'll go back to my title at some point. And then I would have Alex Shelley come back as the next contender. You'd have an Alex Shelley versus Chris Sabin match. Another compelling story. Just think about that. So that's for the first match. The way I'm going into detail about all this stuff, I might need to do separate videos for each match, so I'll probably do that. So yeah, that's match number 1. Chris Sabin would be the winner of the X Division Xscape match. New #1 contender. He would go on at some point to win the title, have a good match with Kaz, and have a good match with have a good feud with Alex Shelley. So, until the next match.